Knock, knock. Who's there? Carrot. Carrot who? Don't you care at all about me? Well, that might be a really, really, really bad joke. But the message is right on the money, because we all do care about you. And that's why I'd like to spend a little time with you today in our family garden and talk a little bit about carrots. Well, at least read a book about carrots. But first, I would like to introduce you to our plants. To my right, to your left, we have green bell peppers, which I plant every year, and somehow, even though I have the entire garden fenced in, something must fly in from up above and eat off each stem. So I haven't had peppers in quite a few years, but yet I buy them every year and try again. To my far right, your far left, we have cucumbers. Those I grew from seed. And in fact, I grew all of these seeds. I tried to grow them in these compartments. This side was green peppers. Of only 2 have come up, so I bought some plants instead. This side was the cucumbers, of which only 6 came up. But 6 is about all I needed, so I was pretty happy with that. So it just shows that you want to be persistent. And as far as the cucumbers go, that's another plant in the garden that every year I grow, and at some point early in the season, the leaves start to turn brown and yellow, and I think they get what they call a fungus on there, and they shrivel up, and I get a few cucumbers, and that's about it again. But guess what? I try again this year. Will I ever learn? And in front of me, and a little bit on sides of me, we have kale. We have a bearded dragon, which is a lizard native to Australia, and it loves kale. So I planted lots of kale here. We're also going to try to make kale chips this year, which I've heard are really, really, really good. And closest to you, farthest from me, in the front row, surrounded by these cones, are cherry tomatoes. And that's about the only thing that we grow in the garden, well, other than the kale, that really gives us a nice product. And I like the cherry tomatoes over the large tomatoes, because the cherry tomatoes, we can just go over there and pick them and snack on them. Most of the time, they never even make it in the house. They just get eaten right off the plants here. As opposed to, you know, if you make real tomatoes, Mom and Dad have to be a little more into canning or making spaghetti sauce and things, chili, of which we're not always so good about. And I'd be afraid that they would get wasted if we weren't on top of our game. So this way, they get eaten, and it's a wonderful snack that we enjoy outside. And behind me, these sticks coming up out of the ground, which have thorns on them, are my most recent addition to the garden. And these will be staying in here permanently. They are raspberry bushes that a neighbor down the block was throwing away. Somebody moved in, and they were kind of going through the yard and pulling out the things that they no longer wanted, or they didn't want, that the last owner probably cherished. But everyone has their own choices, the things that they like to plant and grow and eat. So they had ripped these out and they had them laying alongside of the road with a sign that said, "Free raspberry bushes to anyone interested." So I wasn't able to take them right away. I went back a little bit later when it was dark, and I thought for sure that I was going to miss out on them because there was another car with its headlights on picking up a few, but I was able, as you can see, to grab enough, more than enough, and I put those in the ground. I still have to cut them down. You're supposed to cut them down to about 9 inches so that the plant can spend more time, more of its energy reestablishing itself after it had been pulled out of the ground. So I put these in a couple days ago, and I really should have cut them down to about 9 inches. So I will do that probably later today. But anyways, really what I'd like to talk about today is the last thing that I have to plant in the garden, and that would be the carrots. And like most of the other things in the garden, these probably should have gone in much earlier in the season. Even with some of this supposed extra time on our hands with the quarantine, the garden didn't get the first priority. So in the area where I'm sitting is where we'll plant the carrots, and I would be happy to share the harvest with you, at least maybe not physically, but through our video in the fall, because I usually wait until almost the first snow to pull them out of the ground, a little longer than we should. We're out here freezing and pulling out those carrots because I have it in my mind that the longer they're in the garden, the longer that they'll grow. But realistically, maybe about the time that school starts, or maybe more like Halloween, I guess. Maybe Halloween would be a little bit better time that I'll pull them out of the ground because it's still pretty warm through the Halloween period. So anyways, so today's book is a classic. This goes back to about the time that my mom and dad were born. This book goes back to about 1945, and we are in 2020. Long time ago, and it's been reproduced. This is not the original copy from 1945, but nonetheless, it's a very small book, but it has a very, very large message. And our book is titled The Carrot Seed, and the story is written by Ruth Krauss, and the pictures, right, the illustrator draws the pictures, is by Crockett Johnson. Another interesting thing about this book I just noticed today, I picked up this book from one of those book boxes, in the neighborhoods, and this book actually originally came from someone who must have been a teacher at Blakewood School, and that's where I went to kindergarten through 3rd grade. So I was pretty excited to see that. Brought back some really good memories when I was your age. So our book is titled The Carrot Seed. The Carrot Seed by Ruth Krauss. A little boy planted a carrot seed. Apparently just one seed. Usually you would plant probably more than one seed, right? I'll probably show you and my daughters, and I will probably plant some carrot seeds for you later for the end of the video, and we'll plant a couple rows of carrots. But the boy planted a carrot seed. At one point his mother said, "I'm afraid it won't come up." He doesn't look too happy, right? I wouldn't be happy to hear that kind of information about my carrots. His father said, "I'm afraid it won't come up." Second bearer of bad news. And his big brother said, "It won't come up." So far, that's 3 people that are against him on this side. Every day, the little boy pulled up the weeds around the seed and sprinkled the ground with water. Really taking good care of this seed, right? He knows how to tend to a garden. But nothing came up. Actually, much like some of the seeds I showed you of the cucumbers, right? A lot of them didn't come up. And again, nothing came up. Don't know how much time is going by here, but... And everyone kept saying it wouldn't come up. It won't come up. But still, he pulled up the weeds around it every day and sprinkled the ground with water. And then, one day, I think you know what might be coming. A carrot came up. Oh, unbelievable. A carrot came up. Just as the little boy had known it would. Right? So as I said, this is a small book, but it packs a big message and an even larger carrot, even bigger carrot, right? So he was persistent, right? That means he kept up. He stuck to it, right? He didn't give up. He worked hard. He kept watering that seed. He weeded, and he didn't give up hope, right? We don't want to give up hope. But you know what? Sometimes those seeds don't come up, right? But sometimes they do. And that's what we hope for. And in this case, I had just enough that I needed, right? So it worked out perfectly. And before I show you the planting of our carrots, I have one more thing to share with you. Oh, as I'm stuck to the thorns behind me. Oh. My magical carrots have already sprouted. No, that's not it. All right, I have one more thing to share with you. What do you call an elephant with a carrot in each ear? Anything you want, he can't hear you. Thank you for joining us today, and stay tuned for our next endeavor, our next video. Hopefully it'll be some more chicken videos. We got some baby chicks in the house behind me. They're about over 2 weeks old now, and they're growing fast. They're eating lots of food, and I'd like to share some of that with you too. So, thanks. Perfect.
So, as you might know, we are going to be planting some seeds, some carrot seeds. We're going to grow some carrots. Here they are right here. We also got three of these big carrots, like oversized carrots, and they're actually not real carrots. You can see them right here. There's the little one, Joy. And let's just get planting the carrot seeds. Alright. So, oh yeah. Also, as you know, Mr. Saller, he also read the carrot seed book. I'm sure you guys like that book. Alright, so we're going to need gloves. Alright, who wants to start? Alright, Joy, you need gloves and I need gloves as well. Here we go. So now we've got our big gloves on, and here are the seeds again. I'm just going, so here are the carrots. This is what they might look like here. And the type of carrot, this is a Nantes corollis. This is a Nantes corollis carrot. And these are the seeds now. And I'll just read the directions and what we're supposed to do. So, crisp carrot with a blunt end. Slim, well-shaped, orange roots, 6 to 7 long. 1/2 thick. The culture, it says sow 1/2 deep and cover with light soil. Keep moist until seeds sprout. Does well in raised beds or soilless growing medium. Thinning is a must for all root crops. Try spinning the tops of unwanted plants. As the action will not disturb the root of carrots left to mature. The harvest at 70 days. They are fine grained, tender, sweet, and practically coreless. Excellent for freezing. And the nutrition is low in calories, high in vitamin A. So those are the directions, and let's get planting.
So you guys just digging 2 trenches so we can put the seeds about, how deep are they supposed to be, Hope?
Half inch, I believe.
Okay. All right, 2 rows?
Yep.
Excellent. Right between the raspberry bushes and the kale, right?
Yeah.
Excellent. And just look up behind you there so you don't smush the kale, because I know I stepped on some earlier. All right, looks good?
Okay, I've got 1 package of these carrot seeds open now.
All right, excellent. I'm going to stop the camera a second, and I think we'll take a closer look at those, okay?
Okay, so now I'm going to be pouring the carrot seeds into my hand plant. We're going to be pouring all of them, by the way. So as you can see, they're very tiny. Here, I'll show them a little more to you. Spread them out. Pick up one of them. So, yes, they're very tiny. Probably see. And I guess we start planting now. So now I'm going to be putting the seeds, I'm going to place them right in this line I made. And then we are going to cover them up. Is this an eggshell? Yeah, it is. Anyway, yeah, I'm going to place them all in that big line over here. Then I'm going to cover it up with soil. Then we're going to water it, and we'll see how the carrots grow. So let's put it evenly down in the line. Okay. Just keep going. And try your hardest to kind of stack it. Almost done with the line. A little more seeds left. Great, so we made it all the way down to here. And now, can one of you pass me your shovel, please? The little one up there? Yes, thank you. Okay, I want to use the back side of the shovel to pat the soil down so I cover up the seeds. Just like that. This is what it should look like. Make sure it's even with the other plants and soil. Just like this, not too hard, but this should work. And then after, I let my sister Grace have her turn in planting hers.
And Joy if she'd like.
Yes, and Joy.
And what's the magic ingredient we would use at the end?
Well, we have to put water to make it grow, of course.
Not so magical then, huh?
Yeah. Well, it can't grow if there's no water. Gonna say something, Grace?
Oh, yeah, I'm opening the carrot seeds packet.
Gonna put them in the big line you've made with the shovel. I'm gonna pat them down and we'll water them.
I saw.
Oh, can I take this?
Sure.
On the others. Okay, so I think you still got some in here. Dennis, you still got some seeds in here. Here, give me your hand. Hold it. Getting stuck in the thorns. So Grace is bringing in the side walls, making the soil all together so the seeds are covered up. And then we'll add water, and then hopefully they grow. So now that we have finished planting everything, we have put we've made a line with the shovel. We have put the seeds in the line we made with the shovel, and we covered it up with more soil. And now all that's left to do, well, we have to water it, of course, but another thing we have to do is, if you can see this, look here. Like over here, you see this little thing that marks what you have grown. What you really have to do, so you see this part and you see the package, you gotta put this right in there so it fits. Not fitting. Okay, there we go. And flatten it out. And then you're going to flip it over just like this. So it's not going to be forwards because there's no hole here to put it in. So it's not going to be forward. You're not going to see it straight up. But you are going to see it this way. And you're just going to put it right where you started the line. You're going to push it in the soil so it stays. Just like this. You can push it a little further. There we go. And now do it. Let's start watering. You can water everything as well. Alright, let's keep watering over here a little bit. Get the corners. Get my dad.
Ah! Ah, stop! Thanks for watching. Remember to water.
And now we will not forget where our carrots are. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching the video. If you liked it, make sure to subscribe, leave a like, subscribe to our channel if you want to keep watching our videos, and I hope you enjoyed. We'll see you soon.